Hi there, my name is Lucas. I am fluent in English, native to Portuguese, intermediate to Spanish, and a beginner in Japanese. In this video, I want to walk you through the process of how I learn languages and how you can use it to learn Portuguese yourself. So let's get started. I think that when we are learning a new language, three things actually matter the most. First one is immersion, and immersion is, of course, said by most people. Most people claim they know how to do immersion, but I've got this concept called content ladder. Content ladder is basically the process most people go through, willing or not, to learn a new language, where they start to listen to very basic things and use visuals to learn the basics of a language. And I'm gonna show you the basics of Portuguese, and I'm gonna make sure you understand it, be okay about it. I just ask you to pay attention to the screen and look to me, and you're gonna understand Portuguese, I promise you. Barba, barba, minha barba, minha barba, cabelo, cabelo, meu cabelo, meu cabelo, camiseta, camiseta, minha camiseta. So you can actually understand Portuguese. It's not that difficult if done properly. So that's the concept of immersion, and that's the concept of content ladder. You start with very basic content like this that's extremely visual and it's very easy to understand. Everybody can, doesn't matter the level. So you start from there and you kind of build up to more difficult levels of Portuguese. So you can watch an animation like Avatar, The Last Airbender. Let's say when I was learning Spanish, actually, I am still learning Spanish, but when I was first beginning, when I was starting to learn Spanish, the thing that I did was I watched Avatar for a couple times, and it was very hard at the beginning. So I would watch the first episode and not understand much, but watch it again. No subtitles in Spanish, no subtitles in Portuguese at all, absolutely no subtitles. And as I went through the process of listening to the language and gathering more and more knowledge, I started to understand it more, and it became quite clear by the middle of the second season of Avatar, and I could now pay attention more to the story and not care much about the language. When you reach those flow states where you're actually paying attention to the story because the story is cool, not because you want to learn Portuguese, that's the moment you mostly acquire the language. That's where everything kind of becomes easy to you, because you are not dependent on discipline anymore. You're just motivated to watch a story, and that's gonna be the way you're gonna learn the language. So you start from a sense of everything feels like study, because watching comprehensible videos and visual videos like demonstrated here are not that great and are kind of boring. But then you move up to stories that are cool, like Avatar. Of course, you're gonna feel uncomfortable in the process of going from one thing to another. But as you move up in the ladder of difficult contents, you're gonna realize, well, it is becoming more interesting, and that's what you have to wish for. Like, this is gonna be more interesting as I go. So that's how you walk through your immersion. You start from the basics, and you gradually move up to more hard content and harder contents. And I think the hardest content of all is videos like this, where it's just someone talk to a camera, like podcast where two people have a conversation. So you don't have many visuals to aid you, to help you to understand the language. That's the hardest part of all. But I think that when you reach this level, you're kind of great. You're kind of like a little bit fluent already. You're kind of confident inside the language, and that's how you kind of get the grasp of the basics of the language. and that's how immersion is properly done, in my opinion, at least. So the next step is to the second topic about this video. In this video is about pronunciation, and pronunciation is a very difficult process to go through because many people are fluent in the language but they have an accent. I still have an accent in English, as you can notice, but my accent is quite diminished from what it was like a year ago, and I hope it will be diminished from a year from now. I don't know how to express this concept in English. In a year in advance, I think by this is not a very good demonstration of immersion, of course, because I'm struggling to express something, but I'm still fluent in the language. I think you understood what I meant to say, and that's the process. That's the challenge of learning a new language. So a year from now, that's exactly what I want to describe. A year from now, I think that my pronunciation is going to be better in English, okay? And the way I work in my pronunciation is through shadowing, and it's by an imitation of a native speaker. So the native speaker has an accent, or the native speaker has a way of saying things. I try to imitate the tone. So if the question is up, let's say, what do you think? I go up with the speaker. If the question is, if it is a statement, if it is an affirmation, I think like this. I think like this. So I try to go down. I try to go down as well. And of course, it is harder at first, but as you move through this process of learning the pronunciation of the language, it's gonna feel more comfortable. It's gonna be easier and easier as you go, and there's not much to talk about it. I can walk you through the details of slowing down the video, paying attention to letters and to syllables, and going through stuff like this, but I don't think that that's very helpful right now. I think that only by doing shadowing in a slower video, let's say if you go through the settings of video, you can slow the velocity, the speed of the video to 0.5, and that's great to actually understand and get a good grasp of the phonetics of the language, of the sounds of the language, and actually imitate the sounds precisely. And that's where beginners should aim for, and I don't think that's where advanced speakers should aim for. Advanced speakers should go in the same pace of the video. And finally, but not less important, the third topic of the video is you should expand your vocabulary deliberately. And the way I approach this is by two different methods. The first method is I read a lot in the language, and I don't think that reading as a complete beginner is good for you, because you're gonna struggle with the phonetics and develop bad habits of pronunciation. I think that you should aim for reading as you are at least kind of used to the phonetics of the language, so you don't develop bad habits inside the language. And always use audiobooks, because audiobooks are very good ways to rely on the right pronunciation of a word, not to rely on what your guess of the pronunciation of that word is. So I always use audiobooks to learn English, and I even do shadowing of audiobooks. It's a very good and reliable way to improve even further your pronunciation, your grammar, your confidence while speaking in the language. When I was maybe a year ago, I was fluent in English already, but I wasn't confident in the language. And the reason why was because even though I could speak in the language, I learned most of it from reading. So my phonetics, my habits of pronunciations were really bad, and I had to struggle a lot through shadowing and pronunciation practices to get it to this point that I am right now. So if you do these from the beginning, everything is gonna feel so much easier for you. So that's a way of prevent you of struggling in the future. So of course, we talked about the most effective way to expand your vocabulary, which is reading, and now we're gonna cover the second way of expanding your vocabulary, which is an app. So most apps like Duolingo, they are great to expand your vocabulary, but my preferred one and the one I choose to use is Busuu. I use it to learn Japanese, and it was great. Everything is inside context. The explanations are great. I feel like I learn more through this app than I learn from other apps. So I use Busuu as my way of learning the vocabulary of a new language. But you shouldn't be stuck to an app. Like, you shouldn't be relying everything you have on it. So yeah, I think that you should rely more on immersion, and immersion should be your focus every time, every day, and then you move slowly, like, to shadowing and vocabulary expansion through reading, through apps, as auxiliaries of your immersion. Immersion should be your main driver. So yeah, I think that's the video. If you want to have like direction classes, direction, I think direction classes, so you have more knowledge about how to go with your language learning. So I'm gonna leave a link down in the description. And if you want to have conversational classes in Portuguese, use the same link and schedule a time with me in my agenda. Okay, so yeah, that's it. I give conversational and direction classes to how to learn languages, and they are the same price, and the link is down below. So bye bye.